Oh, hey there. How are you?
Hi, good evening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Where are you calling in from?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Yes.
Oh, it's freezing over there.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yes,
It's cold.
indeed. Talk to me. What's on your mind?
No, I just wanted to join.
Okay.
I've been watching your videos.
I appreciate that.
I'm a little nervous.
No, you don't have to be nervous. I'm a civil person. What country are your folks from?
Suriname. Suriname.
Suriname,
Yeah.
Latin America.
So, yeah, South America, not Latin America, South America. It's not Spanish
Ah,
speaking.
okay, okay. Wow. And let me see how is Paramaribo the
Yeah,
capital?
yeah, yes. I'm surprised you know.
Oh, see, you'd be surprised at the things that I know. That's why I always get disappointed when we have people who are on YouTube and they don't have any knowledge or education.
Oh yeah, I
You
can
see
see.
what I'm saying? The reason I know is because I have knowledge and education.
Yeah, you educate yourself. Yeah.
But anyways, so you grew up in a very unique situation, being in South American and Anglophone country. There's Suriname and there's Guyana
Yeah.
and a couple of
French Guiana. Guiana.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that we have colorism is rampant in Latin America and South America. I mean,
Yeah.
really globally. But what are your thoughts on the black female wearing wigs and all the rest of it?
Um, I feel like it's I I would rather see people women wear their own hair.
Mm.
I feel like that's your crown, and um, sometimes I know a lot of people who wear wigs. I
Oh
feel
no, no.
yeah, it's no shade or anything, but I just like natural hair because it's yours. You know,
Right.
you can be you have some of the videos that girls get pranked and somebody pulls their wig off. And now I feel like if you just wear your hair naturally, you don't have that shame whenever somebody pulls it down or something. Sorry if my English is a little
No, your English
but
is better than most black Americans. I'm listening.
so I feel like you should be proud of your hair. It grows from out of your head, you know, you're
Mm.
born with it. And I
Yes.
feel like you should wear it proudly. So that's my thoughts on wigs and stuff.
I agree with you, and I would even go further to suggest that those women who wear wigs, which they invariably it doesn't look good, that they're mentally ill. They're
Okay.
mentally ill on very deep levels. One, in terms of self-esteem as an individual, and then secondly, self-hatred as a person who's within a particular racial demographic. They actually hate themselves as a black woman, and they're trying to imitate the appearance of the white woman. But what we see there's a lot of challenges with the black female because females in general on the planet Earth are lost in that most of them make themselves sex objects. So their whole goal is to be sexually appealing. They utilize various forms of beauty and sex appeal to achieve that. And then, in addition, for the black woman, in addition to being sexually appealing, she's targeting her sexual appeal to the white man, which is why she's trying to compete with the white woman by emulating her racial features.
Yeah, I can see that, and I think there's not necessarily reasons and excuses for that, and I think um those can be valid, but you should. I For myself, I always want to know if I do something that's weird or uh not appropriate. I want to know why do I do it. I want
Mm.
to dig deeper for myself and know, okay, maybe I'm acting weird, but why do I do it? Because if I don't know the why, I can change it. You know, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, you're very thoughtful, and I'm not surprised because, of course, the black peoples of the earth have different ethnicities. And so, you being from South America, as you noted, there's a different culture than those women who would be from the United States and Africa and various parts of the world. So, I find that the black American female is the most masculine female that I've ever seen, and also very aggressive, rude, and unruly. But increasingly, she's not unique in the world, that we're finding all females are becoming more unpleasant. And the white liberal female is really the leader of that kind of aggressive anti-male mentality.
Or the anti-male mentality, yes. Well, to be honest, I'm learning a lot from your videos, because it's just about listening. I think we as women, we want to explain how men feel about women, but we don't know how men think.
Right.
So even if sometimes you come across, I know you know that how do you say it? Sometimes you adopt people the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
But I again, for myself, whenever I feel offended, I look within myself, because it's not you that offends me, it's I'm that offended.
Mm.
So I feel like we as women, we should listen to men, and the more I listen, the more I learn that where women can be all over the place with their opinions and their standards, men usually have the same baseline. So if you just listen and apply, things run smoothly, uh, in my experience.
I think that you're accurate. And the sadness is that many females are not able to identify what a man is. They often end up with males who are effeminate and males who are as much a woman as they are. And so as a result, they end up with emotional men. They end up with men who are a little bit too cute. They end up with men who don't have a plan. They end up with men who are given to leisure as opposed to working. They end up with men who don't have principles and strength of character. And as a result, we'll all suffer.
I think so too, because you need a leader. I feel like you need a leader, and leader. It's easy to listen when you agree with someone, but sometimes you have to listen even when you disagree or think you know better. You know.
Yes, and some might find my messages to be harsh, but the truth of the matter is that we are beyond the time where we can utilize compromise. We're beyond the time when we could, say things nicely because the problem is so serious. I was just, there's a video I'm going to make sometime soon. There's an Indian woman who is a news reporter in India, but they have very far reach on YouTube. She's a real feminist, which is a terrible thing to be. She made a video explaining that women don't need to sacrifice their careers. They can be mothers as well. And during the video, she says, for my son and my daughter, I tell them, hey, sometimes I'll be there for you. Sometimes I won't. Get over it. Now, this is no way to raise children. And when we raise children with an absent mother, as well as a father that is working, then the children will suffer. They'll have a lack of values. They'll be raised by the iPad, raised by social
Yeah,
media.
yeah. And the thing is, we don't even know. We haven't seen a generation that has been raised with the iPad in their hand. We haven't seen them fully to the end. I mean, this is the first generation, so we still have to see the effects from birth to death with the generation that is raised with the iPad in hand. You know, so
Yeah,
I'm very scared for the future if I think about those things, because even babies now, they can, before they talk, before they even think, really, I guess they can put passwords into a phone, and that's accepted and it's normal, but it's really not, because we're not, it's not natural, you know. So I fear for um I think we're all going to be shocked if we see the generation. I don't know how to explain it, but there's like cycles, you know.
yes.
And if you see a generation that's raised with the iPad in the hand, with the iPhone, with social media, with this technology, we don't know what it means for the future yet, because we haven't seen it before. This is the first like the first generation, first few generations that's being raised like this.
Yes, and in fact, we're dealing with nomophobia, which is to say phone addiction, and like any other addiction, the
What did you say?
addict rages. What's that?
What's that word?
Nomophobia.
Homophobia.
Yes,
Okay.
addiction to the phone.
Okay.
And just like any other addiction, the addict rages when you try to pull away the object of their desire. And even myself, I'm in social media as a business, but, it even annoys and bothers me, and I can tell that it's bad. And I try not to engage with the phone as much as possible. There's so many things that we do and we think it's like normal when really it's so abnormal. Like, for example, a young lady called me yesterday and like tried to spend time on the phone. And I was like, look, I don't want to talk on the phone.
Mm,
Like, if you want
yeah.
to come see me, but you're not where I am. And we're human touch is meaningful. Human eye contact
Yeah.
is meaningful. Really, this is just wasting my time with like a fake connection.
Yeah.
And human beings, we tend to think that we can control people using technology. Women will search everything you're doing to try to bust you. And when we look at the data, female happiness has declined over the decades. The reason for that is now they think that they're God, because now they're like, oh, I busted so and so cheating on social media. Well, your grandmother would have been in your situation 60 years ago. She would have never busted her husband, and she would have lived 80 years of happy marriage and
Mm,
died a married woman.
yeah.
So a lot of the things that you're doing or searching for are problematic.
I agree with that because also sometimes I think about sometimes we think we have um like when you have a debate or a discussion with somebody and you're like, no, this is a fact, this is my opinion, this is right, and then you look it up on your phone, like, and you're like, look here, it says I'm right, but that's not your knowledge. You just it's like plagiat, play. I don't know how to say it in English, but when you plagiarism,
Plagiarized.
yeah. So it's not your knowledge. You haven't searched for the knowledge. You haven't read about it. You haven't done your own research. You just see something, you look it up, you show it to somebody, and it's gone when you put the phone away.
Mm-hmm.
So we think we're smarter than we are. We
Ooh.
think we're more knowledgeable than we are.
Mm-hmm.
We think we're further along than we are, all because we have it in our hand. But
Mm.
even if you're driving and, for example, your phone dies, all of a sudden you don't know where to go anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
And years ago, you could have driven and figured it out on your own. But we've lost all those abilities, and we think we have more abilities because we have it in our hands.
Mm.
But it's not. It's fake. It's not a real. Like you said, it's not the real thing. It's fake.
You bring up a good point, because in addition to that, you also find that the technology removes us from human connection. So, say you did start driving 20 years ago and you were to get lost, you'd pull over and you'd ask a human being, which
Yeah.
is an opportunity for connection, an opportunity for a new relationship. So now we're more closed off. And one thing that is necessary and that I admire about the Amish is to draw yourself back from technology, and people won't do it willingly. So we will have to have a cultural force that is going to create a strong stigma around raising kids with iPads, giving young people cell phones, utilizing technology for a certain number of hours, and also allowing social media to ruin romantic relationships. That has to be something that's created and enforced within a culture, or else we're all going to suffer.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna do it willingly. No.
No,
We're,
no, it's Taliban time.
it's Taliban time.
It's Taliban time, absolutely. Because a lot of you have three levels of women, right? You have those at the very bottom, they're wicked. Then you have those who are just not yet guided. And then you have those at the top who are saints, lady saints, good women, good values, honorable, good listeners. They're caring women. They prioritize family and their man, and they know the true path to happiness. So the women at the bottom, though, the wicked ones, they're the loud ones. They're the ones that they're Ice Spice, they're Sexy Red, and they're Kim Kardashians. They're very loud, and they create a bad example, and it influences the 80% of women in the middle who are unguided, and then they become misguided. And in being misguided and having no upright male leader, they're going to struggle when you try to take the wig off of their head. So it will have to be snatched and ripped root and stem off of their head. And men will have to reassume leadership through our natural advantage, which is force. Right.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, I think so. Leadership is needed. I, I, as a woman, I know how my emotions can be all over the place, and how I can think this is a good decision now, and maybe an hour later when I cool down, I'm like, no, that's not a good decision. And I know, and I don't think I that's not necessarily a flaw. It's just we're different than
Right.
men, So it's just giving into our differences and accepting, because there must be a good side to that. Um, how do you say it? There must be a good side to it as well. But if I want to be a man or act like a man, I will see it as a flaw because it withholds me from being as effective as a man. But if I'm just a woman and act like a woman, I can see the advantage of that thing, or of my emotions, of
Yes, it's
being emotional.
much easier to be what you are. Check this out.
Yes,
Let me see. Let's see.
yeah, that's what yes, that's easier said, yes.
So, do you know who this white woman is?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Who's that? Who's
Yeah,
that white woman?
it's Beyonce.
Right. Now, the Beyonce I remember was this one.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, it's different.
that Beyonce looks like a black woman.
Yeah.
This Beyonce looks just like every effort to be a white woman. She's not only has she bleached her hair blonde, which is not a color that black people have, she's also straightened her hair. And as pale as she is, it's really a terrible thing. And not only is she guilty, you also have this goofball rascal right here who's exercised no influence over her. And so she's basically living like an animal and embarrassing all of us. And so I would go as far as to say the weak male is really the root of the problem, because there's an idea that women are liberated, whether it's sexually liberated or any other way. And when they get liberated, it seems all they can think to do is make an OF account, or, you know, further objectify themselves and then accuse men of being the culprits of it.
Yeah, it's I think that's what you said about being misled, because it's um growing up in this generation, in this century, or the times that we live in. It's easy to get to be led astray, and to adapt the ideology of this is empowerment because it's in my hand and I make the money, but it's not. It's really not. And I think you have to, as a woman, you have to see for yourself. And to be honest, I highly doubt it if anyone who's doing it really feels empowered. I think it's just repeating or maybe making yourself believe, like, no, this is empowering, this is empowering. Maybe if I just stick with it, it'll feel empowering in a few years or so. But I think it's either you're lying to yourself or you're trying to convince yourself. But I doubt there's anyone who can truly say, no, I feel empowered by this. I really doubt it. And I hope I'm not, no, I'm not even hoping anything. I was gonna say I hope I'm not putting anyone on the spot, but I just don't believe that, because I think as a woman, for myself, even in smaller experiences, but similar, or experiences with men, it's not empowering to be. I haven't had the opportunity, or I haven't had the experience of being a wife, but um, I would imagine that being more empowering because somebody is picking you and choosing you, and choosing to lead you, choosing the responsibility of leading you, and that I think that's more empowering because that's somebody telling you you're worth it instead of somebody paying you for showing you your body.
Right, right. They don't know any better. It's really sad, and especially the black females because they're impoverished, and it's really true wherever you go on the planet Earth. They're consistently one of the lowest income groups, and that's true of the male as well. But the current topic is the black female, and their drive for earning money, it only represents their misunderstanding of the greater pursuits in life, because if they were sensible, they'd realize that if they got together with a man, they'd be in a more powerful economic firm and they would earn better and have reduced expenses as a team. But instead, they try to earn money on their own as a career woman due to the misguidance of the white liberal feminists, not realizing that the history of the white woman in America, which is what they're following, the white woman got the right to vote before the black man did. That's number one. And then number two, the white woman was rebelling against being a housewife, which is really a cushy job. But the black woman was never a housewife. She never, in the context of American history, the black male was never really empowered for a long enough time to where the black woman had a chance to get tired of being a housewife because the man could go out and earn so well. So what they're really doing is they're reacting to something that white lesbians were rebelling against. The idea that I don't want to be a housewife was driven by equity, it should be driven by gender feminists, white lesbians who didn't want to be under men in general, and therefore they needed to rearrange the society such that they could get hired and earn enough money to live independent of men. And then after that, they would pursue their LGBTQ aims so that they could then have female to female relations, thereby upending the entire society.
I didn't even know that the white woman could vote before the black man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's one of the comical things. And when I talk to Black American women, there was one on my Wednesday show. I do a show every Wednesday at this time it'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there was a young lady who was on it recently. There are two black women, and after the show, one of the black women, and she's very dark, very, very dark. So just quite pure black. She asked the other black girl, she says, "Hey, do you identify first as black or first as a woman?" And the girl says, "I identify first as black. How about you?" And this girl who is just super, super dark black says, "Oh, I identify first as a woman." And I thought, oh, you're really a psychopath, because in the United States, when there was Jim Crow, and even before that, when there was de facto segregation and black subjugation, if you were to be hanged as a human being, you'd be hanged not because you're a woman, but because you're black. And the comedy of after blacks were being hanged, whites would have picnics, the whole family, the black or the white man, the children, and the white woman would sit under your hanging body or the body of one of your family members. And so you're so foolish as to identify first as a woman when your primary identity to the power holders in the society is black. And if you are to receive any advantage or disadvantage in the society, it'll probably be based on you being black, not being a woman.
Maybe it's easier to be a victim as a woman, if,
Oh, definitely.
and if you
Definitely.
like to be a victim. I don't know the person, but um, for myself, I always, or lately especially, I always watch out for being a victim, or I don't want to be a victim of nothing or no one. I want to be a victim. So, um, because if I'm a victim, I hold myself back, especially when
Mhm.
I'm really a victim. If I make myself a victim, so but sometimes I think it's easier being a victim.
Of course it is. And it's not only the black women or black people or the people who are disadvantaged that like to claim victimhood. It's really a human trait. It's an easy thing to do to excuse our own shortcomings as opposed to saying, hey, I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't hardworking enough. I wasn't capable enough. You choose victimhood. We even see that whites are doing it in mass. You're claiming to be victims, claiming that the colored peoples of the world are replacing them when really it's like, no, it's not that they're replacing you. It's your birth rate is low. So it's like you guys are not reproducing. So if you were reproducing, your governments probably wouldn't be letting in an inflow of aliens, legal or illegal, to replace you so that they can keep the GDP metric growing. And I think this is a problematic metric, but these are lies, and you'll hear white folks talk about being replaced or eradicated when in reality it's the fact that the white male allowed the white female to get into the power position over him and the rest of the world, and they're leading the world to destruction. So they take no responsibility. They'd rather blame the decay of their societies on the invaders, as it were. And even it gets so comical that they'll say things like, you guys need to go back to where you came from, as though they didn't come from somewhere else, right? Like as though they're not Europeans. But that's yet another discussion. Let me show you something that a woman wrote on the comments. I just want everyone for the record to make note of the fact that these black female animals, they show up in the comments, very vicious, mean, and unpleasant, but when they have a chance to represent themselves, they're always absent, which is a clear indication of their lack of IQ, and they know that they're dumb. Look at this one right here. So this chick's name is Kiara Story, right? And so this on this video, basically, this is where and it's funny how that girl's handling the hair like it's her own hair. It's insane. But anyways, on this video where the black female concedes to washing her hair every 3 months, which is insane and filthy, this black female right here writes, he's bald and punishing people with hair. Well, first off, that's correct. I am bald. I'm definitely bald. That's a fact. She got that correct. Now, here's the thing. She's also bald. And that's why she's wearing this wig right here. So I find it strange that someone like this, who is so ashamed of herself, it's like, I can put on a wig too. Like, clearly there's something wrong with her hair that in every single photo, it's covered up. And she's also a single mom too, clearly. So it's not surprising that it's the woman that's too unruly to keep a man for her kids. She has something negative to say, and what I want everyone to, oh, and she's also displaying herself. Imagine that you're trying to show off your body to strangers on the internet, yet you think that you have some kind of moral opinion to share. And of course, she has tattoos. There's no surprise there. So ratchet with oh, and the fake eyelashes too, the usual traits. And here's the crazy thing. If the guy who got you pregnant left you high and dry and left this cute little kid, you really have to be a despicable character. And I want every single person to know you will never meet a lonely mother who is not a despicable character unless she can concede that there was something wrong. So feel free to reach out to her and tell her, hey, you're invited to the live stream. Because for some reason she wants to go crazy in the comments, but she doesn't want to have the conversation.
Yeah, she's beautiful, and there might not be anything wrong with her hair underneath the wig, but you can tell. So, you know what I mean?
Well, the unfortunate thing is that the wigs, especially the way they wear them nowadays with the lace fronts and the glue, you have these chemicals that, of course, cause certain reactions with your skin, and the natural oils and chemicals already present in the skin, they deplete those natural oils. And what's worse is that when they're taking off the wig to sleep or different things, the glue is actually pulling out what they call their edges, the glue itself. Furthermore, when you have a wig tightly fitted, not only do you have bacteria from the filth of not washing your hair for 3 months, You also have the fact of the fusion of the follicle. So you're in a literal sense ripping the hair out. And also it's not, your scalp is not breathing. So it's an environment, just a terrible environment for healthy hair growth. So the likelihood that she has a healthy head of hair underneath there, it's very low. We'll notice a lot of Black women, when you look at these areas of their head, they're often missing. Like they often have balding here. And this is completely unnatural balding because, as we know, with male pattern baldness, for example, it'll typically
Oh,
be
yeah,
around the
yeah,
crown, right?
yeah.
Your strongest hair pattern is here. So the
Mm.
fact that Black women get balding around here and here, that's due to the chemicals they use, that's due to the heating treatments, that's due to the wigs. And the comical thing, and this is something I mentioned earlier, is that women want men to be women, which is ironic because women aren't even women nowadays.
Mm.
So what do I mean when she thinks it's an insult to say you're bald? Like if I had a problem with being bald, I would wear a hat, I wear a beanie
Yeah,
like every day.
yeah,
And there's
yeah.
YouTubers who do that. There's this one white guy, I can't remember his name. I think someone will put it in the chat. He wears a beanie every day. You know who that is? A white dude that wears a beanie every single freaking day.
Mm.
Tim Pool. Yeah, Tim Pool. This dude named Tim Pool. He wear a beanie. I'd never seen him without a beanie.
Mm.
I almost
Yeah.
think if he took the beanie off, his head would come off with it. But the thing about men, and this is important, is this is called male pattern
Mm.
baldness. It's male pattern. It's a
Yeah.
byproduct of testosterone, which is a chemical that is very high in males. And it causes a certain pattern of balding with the maturity of the human male. So it's called natural. It's something you expect, just like facial hair. You expect it to populate on the man's face with maturity. So the idea that a woman would make fun of a man for something that is on the course of male development only shows that either A, she didn't have a father, which is highly likely, and her kids don't have a father. I wouldn't be surprised if she's continuing the pattern. Or B, she expects the man to display the same type of beauty that the woman displays.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's strange and
Yeah.
sad.
But to this goes back to what we were talking about with the iPad generation and stuff. Things, if you do things in a natural way, things just go smooth. Because my hair, for me, I have dreads.
Hmm.
I have dreads, and the my hair grows really fast and really healthy. But you can see if I drink a lot, or if I were to drink a lot, my hair grows thinner. So whenever I go to my hairdresser, he can always tell me if I'm doing all right, if I'm drinking enough water, if I'm stressed out.
Hmm.
So my hair will tell me how I am doing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that's the beauty in, that's like a bonus, but that's also the beauty in wearing your own hair, because you're in tune with who you are, and that will tell you, okay, you should stress less, or sport more, or work out more, or take care of yourself, take some rest. Your hair will tell you, and I believe that's for a lot of things that I feel like we we created a whole different world within the world. And um for example, sorry if this is off topic, but
Okay.
I'm trying to make a point, or I'm trying to uh well, okay, for example, you have medicine, right?
Okay.
Medicine is comes from things that grow from the earth, for example, and we
Okay.
take it and we do stuff with it, we add stuff, we mix it up, and now we give it to people as medicine. If you just eat your fruit, you won't need vitamin C, if you know what I
Right.
mean. So that's the same with my hair. I feel like my hair will tell me, I don't have to, I don't want fake hair, because my own hair will tell me how I'm doing.
Hmm.
And if we stray too far, that's what I mean. We stray too far from the natural order of things. That's what I mean.
I agree.
Sorry, it would be easier in Dutch. I'm sorry, but that's why I love my hair and I love wearing my hair natural and I love seeing it grow and I take pride in it and I see the effect of what I'm doing daily, you know?
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I would recommend it for all my sisters, to be honest. And I
I
do. I
appreciate
really
it.
do. I
Me
really do.
too.
Around me, the girls around me, my sisters, my friends,
Hmm.
they know. I
Hmm.
always tell them, even if it's not dreadlocks, just your natural hair, you
Yes.
know?
That's a beautiful message, and I appreciate you coming on to share that. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Okay, thank you. It's
Absolutely.
been a pleasure meeting you
Like,
too.
nice young lady, and I always think it's worth taking out the time to have those conversations so that you might every once in a while get an opportunity to see a female who's not ratchet and insane.